So check it out. So one of the things I like doing when I have time, I really enjoy watching movies. Movies of all genres. Horror movies are my favorite, but I do like action films, thrillers, comedies, dramas to some extent. So I really like movies. Lately, haven't been having a lot of time to really get into that. Um, Yesterday, I had a little bit of time. So the TV that I watch, it has a Fire Stick on it. So with the Fire Sticks, you pretty much get everything. But the one thing I like to watch, I like to watch Tubi TV. Some people criticize Tubi TV because they don't always have the newest stuff, but I often find uh, TV shows and films that I wouldn't find anywhere else. So that's kind of like why I watch Tubi TV because I see things that either I haven't seen for a long time or hey, let me check this out. So I was watching it the other day or planning on watching it, and this film caught my eye called Case 137. And I read the description. It was about a young detective. Um, she discovers um, um, unknown case or a case for some reason that haven't a missing person's case that haven't been getting a lot of attention, and she takes it upon herself, her and a few other people at the force, to investigate it, and it brings her into a lot of calamity by doing that. But what it's really about is really about a missing the mysterious disappearance of a missing black teenager. So it's really based off that. Um, so I'll talk about the good. So the first thing I noticed about this when I did further research into the movie, into the film, the director and the writer, I believe, are both black men. Um, what's the director's name? Um, see if I can find it. Bear with me. Let's see. Nuri Boswell. That's the director, and he's also one of the producers. And the individual who wrote the screenplay is Marcel Gamble. So that kind of caught my attention about this film early on. I said, "Oh, let me check this out." And the way they framed it, it wasn't. They didn't frame it as some simple um, 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 urban drug dealer story. That seemed to be the majority of these black movies, independent black movies. So it was kind of different, and that caught my attention. And so another good thing about it was, even though they didn't have a lot of well-known names as actors, the people they did have, they did a pretty good job doing acting. Most people were extremely convincing, convincing in their roles and what they had to do and the lines they delivered. Very convincing, and that part was really good, as well as the look of the film. I mean, you can tell they didn't have a very big budget, but for what they had, they really got a lot of use out of it. And also the story was ambitious because it was a suspense thriller mystery, and they added an action movie element to it towards the end, towards the climax. So that was very ambitious of two individuals who are at the early stages of creating films, cinema. So I was, very impressed by those aspects. Now, getting into the story itself, watching it from a viewer standpoint, um, the first 5 or 6 minutes, first 10 minutes for me was extremely hard to get through, and but because um, what the movie is about, I, I kind of see what he was trying to do. He was trying to uh, frame the story in a way to say, hey, this town and this police force is extremely racist and prejudiced against black people. So it's a strong um, anti-black racist activity, and not necessarily, somewhat from the systematic level, institutional level, but more so from the individual level. And for me, that wasn't really the problem in itself, but it was really the black person's response who the highly, because this was highly aggressive racism. So it wasn't just some white guy coming in a black guy's face calling them nigger. He'd be like, yeah, you black people are the worst people in the world. You responsible for all the problems, and yoking them up and pulling guns on them, and like, yeah, nigger, what you gonna do? It was that kind of racism, and that wasn't really the problem. But the problem was the response, because it's the response of the black man and the black woman in those situations. How are they gonna respond to that? Are they gonna really? Are they gonna come back at them? Hey, yeah, you. I'm like, you white people. As soon as y'all had the ability to get out of Europe, y'all start going around jacking and stealing and killing people and destroying cultures. So it's comebacks you can hit, white people with when they come at you like that. But the black black man's response, who that happened to in the beginning, was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not the nigger loser you want me to be," and walked out. I'm like, man, that was weak. That was weak. That was weak. And then the same character, because the character who initiated the racism. But in that scene, it was like the daughter was bringing her black boyfriend home to meet her super racist family. I don't see how she thought that was a good idea, because her father absolutely hates black man. And she tell the black guy say, "Hey, well, dang, why did you bring me here? Well, I thought that if my father met you, it would dispel his stereotypes and hatred of black men." Well, no, because you got to realize, uh, white men who feel that way about black men, they using all that crime and thug stuff as an excuse to feel that way. But what it really is that they have a envy and fear of black men. That's really what it is. All that other stuff is like, that's their excuse to have those views. So it don't have nothing to do with, because the black man could have had a PhD and been a scientist and created the time machine. The white man still gonna hate him because he can do all those things, you know. So that didn't even make any sense to have that even in the storyline. It just then it was another scene where um, uh, the racist character goes into a bar and he orders a beer and there's a black man sitting there who was sitting there before he got into the bar, and so the white guy served the beer, and he said he was like, yeah, give me another beer, because essentially, you got this nigger's dirt on it, and the black man was like, what did you say? And again, this white guy pulled a gun out of him, and they get into some dialogue that they find out that the black guy was just transferred to that station. But yeah, but a better scene it could have played out after that happened if the black guy would have just fired on him, and just said, "Yeah, that's for pulling the gun out on me." He was well within his rights to do that. I would have liked him to have done that. That would have been a more stronger response, because you can't. I understand you want to make these white guys seem really racist and dangerous, but it's like, come on, you can't show them just punking out black guys and black guys just quivering, shaking in their boots because of these white guys. Then it was another thing where they flash back and it's a white guy with married to a black woman, and he's sort of like a really going hard on his half black son and stuff like that. And you got the black woman in there quivering, oh, no, don't go hard so hard on him. Again, being weak. And that was and see again, it wasn't the fact that you showed a lot of racism. It was just that you made your black character's response to the racism be really weak. Because it's individual racism. If somebody being racist towards you individually, you can do a whole lot more, and than you would be if this was a case of systematic or institutionalized racism, where you have to try to go through the courts and do all that stuff and get them to change laws. But this is somebody individually trying to be aggressively racist towards you, and it's like the black man and women's responses to quiver. I'm like, where is this town? I'm like, is this a real U.S. midwestern town? Because at first I thought the town was Grand Rapids. It was something called Grand Ruins that I never heard of. So I'm thinking, maybe that's something they just made up for the movie, because it couldn't possibly be a town anywhere in the U.S. where the black people are that weak. They acting like they in the 1860s. That they can't do anything against these white people. So anyway, he establishes that the police and white guys in town are like extremely racist. So the next characters we meet a white woman who I guess she's being set up as she's gonna be the hero of this movie, because she's the first day detective that discovers something funny about case 137 or something like that, she can see it in the computer, but she can't find an actual physical case file for this. So she's married to a black man. So kind of right off the bat, the white man in this place hate black man, but the women want to marry black man. So it's just kind of okay. That's what it is. That's what it is. Um, so anyway, it's a whole mystery around this missing persons case. Um, so kind of going back like the racist character, extremely racist character. He meets his other colleague, another police officer. Police is shaking down a black auto body shop for money. So I guess it's some monthly tribute that this black guy who owned that auto body shop, which is a chop shop, has to pay these officers to stay in business and stuff like that. So him and the other racist white cop guy meet there. Um, there's a call, and the other white guy goes to attend to the call. But before he gets there, there's this black teenager kind of like walking in the street. Because in this town, and I've been in towns like that before in the South and the Midwest, where in California, our sidewalks are like built to where they're kind of like right before the curb. And some of these places, you don't get the side. You have the curb, then you have this grassy part, then you have a sidewalk. So a lot of times I would be doing what this young man is doing. I was sort of kind of like walking the street a little bit. Um, so this guy cop pulls up, but he's in a unmarked. He's in a regular car. He's not dressed as a cop. So first of all, the young man probably don't even know he's a police officer. But to compound that, he's not really doing anything, but just kind of just walking in the street. So him and the cop get into it. Um, the cop, um, uh, aggressively grabs him, throws him to the ground, handcuffs him, and for some reason he takes out his gun. He takes out his gun. It fires. He shoots the kid in the side. Um, but as that happening, it was a jogger, and the jogger happened to be his daughter. And this is another kind of complaint of the film. It's like she's jogging. You obviously see that she has a cell phone, and this is 2018 to 2019. People was filming stuff in the 90s that they seen. So it's like, so why didn't she just take her phone and film this whole ordeal on the phone? That would make a lot of sense. It makes no sense that she wouldn't have done that. So anyway, the racist crooked cop throws the guy in the back of the car. He takes him to the woods, to the wood area of that town, and shoots him. So this is the kid that's the basis of the missing persons report, missing persons case 137. Marcel Darius or some like Darius Williams or something like that. And another confusing thing is sort of like, okay, why wouldn't you make a full case? Because it's a missing persons. Nobody don't know the kid is dead, even though the somebody seen something. They didn't have sense enough to film it, and she don't know who this kid is, and she don't know what happened to him. She just knows that he got shot. She don't know if he died or not. The guy could have took him to the hospital, for all she know. She don't know anything. They don't know. No one knows anything but the cop. And I'm sure this wasn't the first black guy, since he so easily pulls guns on black guys. Have they established in this film that it's not too much of a stretch of imagination that he executed many black guys like that in that racist town. You can get away with stuff like that, whether you have evidence or not. You can, because it's a small town. A small town, they have certain rules. They operate even if there's evidence to suggest that wrongdoing was done, um, it's it's not going to go in favor of the black person who gets killed 9 times out of 10, even if you do have video evidence. Even if a police officer come into your house and kill you in your house, it's still not an open and shut case, you know. Um, so anyway, again, you get the rookie officer trying to investigate this, which she really has no leads or anything like that. It's just a missing person case. Matter of fact, it was a file. She says it's not a file. There's a file because there's a whole scene about people coming in, a grandmother and a girlfriend coming in, questioning the guy who's the lead on the investigation about the file. He said several times, "I'm holding the file right in my hands, case 137." So there is a file. There is a file. So what she said about it not being a file is an actual file of that case, a missing person report on the case. So anyway, he's a missing person, and so because I guess it's such a small station, um, the two racist crooked cops overhear that, and so the guy who shot the kid, for some reason, feels the need that nobody don't even know that the kid is dead at this point. Don't know his whereabouts. Well, hey, let's frame somebody for the murder. It's like you don't have to do this at this point because nobody knows, and you could have buried the body deep in the forest, and nobody not gonna know the why. This is a racist police force. They're not gonna go out of their way to solve this case. So yeah, it can be a missing person case forever, and nobody would know the whys unless the girl who's seen it, your daughter, come forth and give up the information. And even with that, he can refute that because she don't have any evidence. She didn't use her cell phone and film it and things like that. He can just say, "Hey, my daughter is just mad at me because I didn't like her boyfriend." He can use that to throw in her face, essentially with that. And actually, there's a scene with her uh, going to some private detective, and she talks to him for a minute, and she really don't even get into telling him what it is she want to report. She just, after 30 seconds of talking to him, she get mad and, well, here's my number if you wanna know about crooked cops, just something stupid like she didn't even tell him anything. You know, they they didn't show or tell him anything about the case. You know, so they really don't know nothing but just it's like the actions of the two crooked cops by them doing too much, them doing things that they didn't have to do, like beating up some known small time criminal and having him take the fall for the case, which blew up in their face because at the time that supposedly he had killed this young man, and in the timeline it seemed wrong because it seemed like this happened like a month ago, something like a long time ago. But in actuality, it's supposed to be like a couple of days just happened. But the way they making it played out, it seems as though this has been some cold case for years, you know. But it was essentially like a new case that's like 2 or 3 days old or something like that. But it's like the actions of the two crooked cops. Nobody was really had any strong leads to even tie them to anything until they started doing too much. They started doing too much, involving other people, trying to frame them and stuff like that. And they kind of like made themselves suspects. The quote unquote people who they were giving credit for making the investigation, they really didn't do a lot. they really didn't do a lot. And then on the racist force, you get two new jacks coming on, trying to do stuff. That's not going to bode well with the good old boy network that these kind of small towns have. So it would be unlikely that they would even get any real help or real assistance with from any of the cops who been there. It would be highly unlikely. So so pretty much these cops pretty much incriminate themselves all through the movie and stuff like that. So the climactic scene is that the crooked cop decided, hey, after pretty much essentially the story came out that they killed this guy, he decided at that point, somehow he figured out how his daughter seen it. If he want to go kill his daughter as being the only witness, like, okay, it's too late to do this. They're, they're essentially already looking for you, so it's not going to help that you kill your daughter at this point anyway. The cat is already out of the bag because you and the other guy was being so stupid, incriminating yourself, doing stuff you didn't have to do. Just dumb. So anyway, the rookie cop, she pretty much almost single-handedly beat up the guys. It's like, okay, so these old guys who've been beating up, intimidating black men all throughout the movies, this little white lady is able to beat them up and successfully fight them off. And at the very end, uh, the daughter who was about to get killed by her father, she ended up shooting the father in the head. So at the end of the day, it was set up where the white women would be the hero of this film. But they were the two heroes. The the white rookie cop and the daughter whose racist dad ran off her black boyfriend. They were like the heroes of the film, and basically the black man couldn't do anything. He had to depend upon being saved by the white woman. Now that aspect I didn't like. You could have, but maybe he did it this way. They did it this way in order for it to get financing because okay, you have a racist element, but you put in the white saviors part with the two white women to show that all white people aren't bad. So maybe that's the way he decided to do it. But the fact that you made the black men characters so weak, it, it's very difficult to watch, and then just characters doing stuff that they don't have to do, like the two racist cops. It's like, okay, you kill the black guy. Nobody don't know you killed him. Don't know where he is. You could have kept it like that. It wouldn't even have been a murder investigation because he would never have been found. That should have been your go-to move, not hey, the person they think is missing. Let's dig him up and frame another black man for the murder. That was a dumb move. So I'll say this: case 137. Like I said, even though parts of the storyline and don't make sense, um, it's still watchable. It's watchable, and like I said, even though there's not any famous people in it, the people they had did a pretty good job. I'll say that, but just the whole thing about uh, black people responding weak when they face with individual racists and people who being aggressively racist to them, not just calling them names, but to the point of physically assaulting them, having a weak response, because you can't do that. In those situations, you gotta respond strong. Like I said, you're not gonna let nobody slap you upside your head and spit on you, and you're not doing anything. Calling you a name, you can brush off a name, but somebody hitting you and all this stuff, if you don't do anything, that's bully behavior. That's bully behavior. They'll continue doing that. So I didn't like seeing that. If he would have made his the black character's response to that type of racism strong, I would have probably liked this movie a whole lot more. And also, I understand you want to have some white saviors in here. You could have made one of the black man characters, since a lot of this the racism was directed at the black man. You could have had one of them be the heroes too. So, but the way you did it, not only were there not any heroes that were black in this movie, they all seemed weak. They all seemed weak, and I couldn't really rally behind any of these characters. I wouldn't even want to hang out with any of these dudes. It's like, man, y'all weak. I can't rock with y'all, man. So, at the end of the day, um, out of 5 stars, I'll probably give it a 2.5. Like I say, it's watchable, especially if you black and you can get past black people being weak in the face of racism. Then you might enjoy it. That kind of killed it for me. I couldn't fully really enjoy it or really rock with it at that point. But to give it a fair assessment, a fair review, I had to watch it to the end anyway. All right. Till next time. Peace.